Mission accomplished. President Trump wrapped up his 12-day Asia trip, saying he had negotiated more than $1 trillion in trade deals for the United States. Because he pulled the United States out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal, some Asian leaders thought the president would disengage from the Asia-Pacific region, but not so. Mr. Trump made many overtures to U.S. allies and competitors alike, including in the Philippines, the last stop of his trip. CBN Asia reporter Lucille Talusan has more from Manila.
We've had a great relationship. This has been very successful.
Trump made the remark in a bilateral meeting with the Philippine president, affirming the close ties between the U.S. and the Philippines. They did not talk about alleged human rights violations in Duterte's war on drugs. They did discuss South China Sea, where the Philippines has become a central player in resisting China's increasingly assertive territorial claims. They also talked about combating terrorism in the region. Trump also met with Indian Prime Minister Modi. Modi suggested the U.S.-India relationship is deepening. Trump has embraced the world's largest democracy as a natural ally in efforts to counter China's growing influence in the Indochina region. Contrary to fears that President Trump's America First vision may result in the U.S. disengagement from the Asia-Pacific region, President Trump's participation in the APEC and ASEAN summits has definitely strengthened cooperation with visited countries and will advance America's involvement in Asia. Asia-Pacific leaders agreed to address unfair trade practices and urgently called for the removal of what President Trump referred to as market-distorting subsidies. The change in the trade language shows the influence of Trump's America First policy. Trump also volunteered to be mediator for countries in the territorial dispute in the South China Sea.
Obviously, this is a major departure from U.S. foreign policy previously, which said we were neutral and that we did not have a stake or a claim in the South China Sea other than continuing freedom of navigation for all international players. This is a critical sea lanes for trade, and it really is important. And President Trump's weighing in to the actual disputes between China and the other claimants is an interesting development, and we'll watch that space carefully.
Other matters of grave concern discussed by world leaders here are the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and ending the violence that is causing the mass migration of Rohingya refugees. Myanmar State Councilor Aung San Suu Kyi said that the credibility of ASEAN is on the line if it does not solve the Rohingya problem. With President Trump at the ASEAN conference, Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Manila.
Lucille joins us now from Manila with more. Lucille, just how successful was the trip for the president? What are the Asian leaders saying?
Hi, Gary. Well, as you know, President Trump coming to the nations in Asia and meeting the leaders that are very important in terms of trade, in terms of security, then I say that it was very successful. And he really made an impact when he made his keynote message during the APEC summit. And, he denounced the unfair trade practices. And we have seen how the APEC leaders have acted on this. And they have reviewed, they're addressing the unfair trade practices in the region.
So it was America first, and I know the president boasted about trade, but did he make progress, Lucille, on the North Korea issue?
Well, North Korea issue was a top concern among the nations, especially for Japan and South Korea and the other countries. And he got more cooperation from countries like Russia and China. And also he has strengthened the bond between countries like Japan and South Korea and also the Philippines. And President Trump assured them of the U.S. commitment to defend them in case of North Korea being more aggressive.
And we were a little surprised about his commitment to the South China Sea issue. That surprised everyone. Well, Lucille Talusan, thank you for joining us from Manila. Good reporting.